here we are. Welcome to low-level hell. Or it used to be hell. These are the Valkurm Dunes. We don't have a map, so we'll have to definitely get one of those later, because we'll definitely be making trips back here. I still like coming here and leveling once we have a decent group. So, as you can see out here, there's a goblin up there, and he's rated as very tough. So, a tick below incredibly tough. We don't really have the manpower to deal with that right now, so at this point we're basically going to try to stealth our way through this area and hopefully not run into any problems. So this is where you really have to get into the habit of looking around, looking over your shoulder, and just making sure that you don't take aggro, because some of this stuff will chase you forever. Back in the good old days when it was more human groups, you would actually see a lot of parties out here. As I mentioned before, a lot of people, you'd start looking for groups at about level 10. So this was usually, in my experience, the first place you would go to do a party is you would come out here and you would actually camp these hill lizards. You'd have to be really careful pulling them because they do link, but it was a good place. You'd learn a lot about party structure and responsibilities, do's and don'ts. You'd learn the hard way from some deaths. This cave we're going through here, I usually mark this on my map with a giant FU. This is the Sandbat Cave, as I call it. I don't think that's the official name, but that's what I call it. So in this cave, there are these tiny little assholes called Sandbats, and you wouldn't think they're aggressive, but they actually are, and they will attack you. Now, back in the day, before Trust, if you were coming through here by yourself, that could mean certain death, especially if you ended up getting aggroed by 2 or 3 of them. Not such a big deal now, but I still do have a deep distaste. We'll just call it full-on hatred of this stupid tunnel. There are lizards in here, and you would think, hey, maybe we could camp out and kill some lizards in here, but again, they link, so probably not the best idea to do that. This cave just sucks. And unfortunately, it's the only way to get to where we have to go. I don't remember the quest, but I think there actually is a quest later where someone actually asks for a Sandbat Fang. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that, because having an excuse to come and kill these little fuckers is, well, I'm down with that. So vana'diel plays a paladin, so the nice thing is vana'diel can actually heal himself. Full disclosure, on my last character, I actually thought vana'diel was a girl for the longest time. Oh, attack down. Oh, look at that. We got a Sandbat Fang. Proof we did this world a giant favor. So you got to be careful coming out of the mouth of the cave here, because there are sometimes goblins just literally hanging out here. And there's kind of 2 tiers of goblins. Like, this is a goblin ambusher, so they're kind of on the very tough, low level, incredibly tough for our level. Same with the goblin tinkerers. But there's a much stronger version of goblin here called goblin leechers, muggers, and I think gamblers. Those ones will, if we bumped into one of those, might as well kiss your ass goodbye. I don't even know if we'd be able to get away from one running. So we really don't want to screw this up. All right, that guy is moving along. You got to be careful. See how he turned like that? Sometimes these mobs, they'll be walking one direction, and then they'll just abruptly turn. So you have to be careful. I almost made that mistake back there just now. You have to be really careful. Sometimes it's best when they're moving around to just wait until they come to a complete stop and then start moving, because you could think, oh, he's going that way like I did, and then all of a sudden, nope, he's coming back towards us. Thankfully, he didn't see us. So even the bunnies here will kick your ass. I'm sure the three of us could, whoa, take one on, but, all right, hold on. I'm sure the three of us could take one of them on. There's a goblin leecher. And that's a goblin mugger. And nobody panic. That's the important thing. Nobody panic. Okay. We gotta play the careful. I don't know if Valkurm could really stealth that good with all that armor on. Not to mention the sun hits him. It's gonna light up like a beacon. So despite how hellish this place is, it's got a certain charm and beauty to it. I mean, you can see in the distance the glorious 2002 graphics are struggling to load the distance, but there's actually like the ocean out there. There's a couple of beaches here. It's an interesting, like, it's got a certain beauty to it. We'll definitely have to come back and explore it when we're higher level, to the like much higher level, to the point where nothing out here will actually attack us, because then we can just kind of have our free roam of the land there. So again, we pretty well don't want to fight anything out here right now. I actually remember when I first started this game, the first time I ever played it, and I knew absolutely nothing. I was 18, I'm 32 now, and my girlfriend at the time and I had moved. We decided we were going to try moving out for the first time, and we ended up moving in with a buddy. Didn't work out. I mean, things are often different when you move in together. But yeah, it didn't really work out. I was the only one that was actually working and contributing to rent and such. But anyways, we ended up moving back home eventually. But when we did live with this buddy, he's the one that actually introduced us to this game. And I'd heard about it, but the whole monthly subscription thing, I mean, back then, you know, I'd like just gotten a credit card. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to pay per month to play a game. But I figured we'd try it, because I think he got like a free month or something before he had to pay. So I'm like, I'll just try it. And if I don't like it, whatever. Here I am 14 years later doing a Let's Play on it. But it was interesting, because I can actually distinctly remember playing, and it was him and two other people that he knew online. I don't remember their names. I don't even remember my buddy's character's name, but they actually took us from Bastock, much like we're doing now, and took us to Sandoria and took us to Windurst. And you got to remember that back then, like, MMOs weren't really a big thing, and I'd never played one before, so just being able to explore this huge world that I'd never had an experience like that in a game, you know, except maybe like some of the earlier, like Final Fantasy VII had a pretty big map. But this was just so vast, and I just remember the sense of wonder, the sense of, oh shit, we're gonna die, yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. So again, we don't have a map, but we're in the Thane Plateaus. Enjoy some more of that music. The Thane Plateaus are basically, like, we were in Conchetat Highlands before, and that's like Bastock's pre-Valkurm Dunes area. So this would be Sandoria, the Elven Kingdom's pre-Valkurm Dunes area. So, and Windurst has their own kind of pre-area as well, but as I said, you have to travel by sea to get there, so it's a little different. But going through these areas, I keep opening the map by force of habit, even though we don't have a map. But going through these areas is interesting because it really gives you an idea of just how the nations are connected. And eventually we'll go to a place called Juno, and you'll kind of see how all the roads, at least at this stage in the game, eventually lead to Juno. which is the big trading city that a lot of people hang out in almost full time. Well, got a goblin here all by himself. There's one in the distance there. But guys, I want to be the tank. And he ignores me. So Goblin Butchers, I believe, are a warrior class. Each of these enemies actually, interestingly enough, just another attention to detail there, has a job, kind of like what we do. So a Goblin Butcher is a warrior, just straight up attacks. A Goblin Ambusher, I believe, is a thief or a ranger. They will use a crossbow. And then a Goblin Tinkerer, I believe, is a Dark Knight, where they use a sword, but they also use some black magic and some, like, enfeebling curse kind of abilities. So we might as well fight some of these guys while we're here and get a little bit more experience. Just so we can say we didn't just run and not stop and fight anything. So this guy here, Dark Knight job, casting poison. Oh, and we just learned a new ability. Sword skill reached level 30, so now we know Burning Blade. There are some weapon skills in this game that you kind of almost wonder what they were thinking. I will use Burning Blade, but then eventually you learn one called Red Lotus Blade. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always found Red Lotus Blade to be a more powerful attack, so... Oh, here we go. He's using Bomb Toss. Oh, there we go. So sometimes, as I said in a previous video, they'll actually fumble the bomb and drop it. There is a giant crag structure here, similar to the one we tagged in Conchetat Highlands. I think we're running right by it right now. I think we're a little too far west, but we are eventually going to come back this way, so we'll just grab that later. I just want to get to Sandoria at this point. And we might as well check to see what's in this chest. It is a bit of a higher level area, so... Combination greater than 53, less than 84. First digit 6, 7, or 8. That's not super helpful. One of the two digits is 6. Second digit is odd. Alright, let's take a couple of guesses. Start in the middle, 65. So it's going to be 67 or 69. Let's try 67. Oh yes! Poet Circlet. Oh, not bad. Level 12 item. And a pair of bone leggings. Can be worn at level 16. Unfortunately, you have to click on the chest each time to select each item. It's a little clunky that way. The Poet Circlet, that's something we can wear on a different job. You see each item actually has like which jobs can wear it, and unfortunately a warrior can't wear that, so. We're getting pretty close to level 13, so I think we'll have to kill a few more baddies out here. By baddies, I mean this poor innocent bunny that was just minding its own business. And we call them the monsters. Oh, he even cures me too. So Valanerol is kind of, sort of the closest thing we have to a healer right now. So I think I mentioned earlier, it's really good to hang on to some of these items. As you play the game more, you'll kind of get a feel for which ones you need to hang on to and which ones not. There are a lot of quests that require some of these items. Some of them are actually repeatable. Like I know in Bastock, there's one quest that we haven't done yet called Flash in the Pan, I believe it is. And she asks you to get her 4 flintstones so she can get her stove started. And I believe it's a timed quest where you can only give her 4 flintstones every... I don't know what the time is, but she'll only take so many so often. And with that quest, the more you do that for her, you can actually build up your fame in Bastock just for doing simple run-of-the-mill quests. And because they're repeatable and you can just keep doing them again and again, you can keep slowly ranking your fame up. I think they've made it easier now where your fame actually ranks up quite a bit quicker. There's another one in Sandoria where a guy wants like 3 rabbit hides. There's another guy that wants 2 bat wings, which we already have. There's actually one in Selbina, which is a tiny little town back in Valkurm. It's a tiny little port town back in Valkurm Dunes that we'll eventually go to. And that one has, you provide like feed for some guy's sheep, and that one will actually get you fame, I think, in Sandoria, Bastock, and I think even Juneau, the big trading town, we'll go to someday. I don't even know why I'm bothering provoking. False hope that things will be different. Well, I was getting hit there for a little bit. But, yeah, it's good to get that fame up because I'm not sure if that affects, like, items. I think it does for some shops. Some shops won't sell you certain items unless your fame's high enough, I think. But it also helps you with quests as well, too, because some quests actually won't be available to you unless your fame is high enough, just because the NPCs just don't have that confidence in you yet. Temple Knights of Sandoria, friend. We're conducting rescue drills in this valley. You're free to go down, just stay out of the way. We'll pass. Maybe later. I am definitely looking forward to some good old-fashioned level grinding when we get an actual functioning group together. Be a lot of fun when we can have more than 4 of us. Right now, I mean, we only have 3 because we only have 2 trusts total. But when we get to the point where we can actually have like a group of 6, that'll be fun to play around with and try different combinations. I know we don't have a map yet, but interestingly enough, I've seen the map here enough that even just kind of being able to judge what position we're in kind of gives me an idea of where we are. So these guys here, I should have mentioned this earlier, these are orcs. So these are the beastmen for Sandoria, so they're basically the Quadov of Sandoria. I believe these guys aggro by sight. They might pursue by smell. I can't really remember. I'd have to look it up. Either way, they're assholes and they should all die. So we're going to help with that cause, ignoring the fact that they'll immediately respawn. Oh, I actually held hate that time. Feeling accomplished. We'll stop for this one other chest here. The chests are an interesting addition, but they almost become a pain in the ass at some points. Second digit is odd. One of the 2 digits is 7. Okay, so second digit's probably 7. The first digit is... oh, crap. We have one guess. 57? Oh, that was going to be my second guess. If I had a second guess. Damn it. Yeah, sometimes those are really obvious and sometimes they're not. Unfortunately. I know a way that a lot of low-level adventurers died back in the day was they would fight guys like these orcish mesmerizers that could cast poison, and this was, of course, back when you couldn't summon trusts and you were left to your lonesome if you weren't playing with friends. So a lot of times what would happen is you'd be playing a character like a warrior or a thief, someone who couldn't heal, and you weren't finding these treasure chests, so you weren't finding like potions and stuff like that. And what would happen is you would fight one of these mage classes. Like as you can see right now, I'm poisoned. It just wore off. But sometimes what would happen is you'd be fighting one of these guys and you'd be like, oh man, I beat him with like 10 hit points to spare. 9 hit points. 8. 7. Oh shit, I'm dying. And what would happen is you would actually just drop dead from poison because you can't rest and get your health back when you have an HP down effect. So a lot of times you'd win the battle, but you'd still end up dropping dead. And back in the day too, I don't know if this is a thing anymore, but back in the day when you died, you would lose a shit ton of experience points. I think it was something like 10% of what you needed to reach the next level. So what would happen is, and every time you died, you lose experience points. So it was a big deal when you died. And the shittiest thing was you could actually de-level. So if you were like level 50 and you lost enough experience points, you could actually drop down to level 49. And that, in the lower levels, not a huge deal. But in the higher levels, that could be fucking devastating. And this is how we know we're getting close to Sandoria. Beautiful land of Ronfor. West Ronfor to be exact. That's the Sandorian flag right there. Bastock's was that blue flag we saw earlier, and then Windhurst has kind of a greenish flag. Green and yellow, if I remember correctly. I really like Ronfor. When I first started my first ever character, I pretty sure I started in West Ronfor, like way the heck back when I first played this game when I was 18. And I don't know, this place is just special for me. I really like the music. It sounds really nice, really relaxing. It's a kind of a neat place to level up in your early levels. Many memories of getting shit stomped by orcs and goblins here. Back in the day, there were a lot of new players that you could come out and help as well. Just very nostalgic for me because it was like the first place I ever fought my first mob. Interestingly enough, too, there's an orchestrated version of the music here too. I've actually recently fallen in love with Spotify, and unfortunately, they don't have any of the original Final Fantasy XI music on there. They just don't have the license for it. But there's actually like an orchestrated cover of this song, and it sounds incredible. I have it on my playlist, so sometimes when I'm out driving, and I actually do quite a bit of driving for my employment as well too, sometimes that'll start playing, and it's just such a nice, very nice song. I like a lot of those background songs like movie soundtracks and video game music. I wonder if this guy will aggro us because we're level 13. Oh yeah, he'll still aggro us. So this guy's a monk type. He just basically, monks fight hand to hand. They hit twice with punches. They do like a jab cross kind of motion. We won't bother with that. And yeah, the grapplers there are no exception to that. So the enemies have gotten a lot weaker now. This is basically Sandoria's equivalent to Gustaberg, just outside of Bastock. So we're basically in the starting area for Sandoria, so we can kind of rest easy. Sigh with relief. We don't have to worry so much about getting our shit stomped out here. Huh. This one doesn't want to beat us up, it seems. Oh, look, a penny! Oh, shit! So in the distance, you can kind of see some castle walls there. We're getting close to the Kingdom of Sandoria. Yeah, I like the landscape here a lot more than Bastock. Like, we started in Bastock because we're playing a Hume. But, oh. That's an interesting group dynamic there. And we made it to our first destination, folks. Welcome to the Kingdom of Sandoria.